Good evening. I'm Dan Jennings with a BlueWave Special report on Article 5, also known as the Convention of States. Article 5 of the United States Constitution gives states the power to call a Convention of States to propose amendments. It takes 34 states to call the convention and 38 to ratify any amendments that are proposed. There are numerous reasons being spouted to generate support for such a convention, such as balancing the budget, i.e. gut educational and social programs in favor of tax cuts for the rich, and funding for the military complex. Also, Citizens United, for example. The Convention of States project seeks to strip the federal government of power, thus making us the 50 divided states of America instead of the United States of America. However, it is not just conservatives doing the calling. A liberal group called Wolfpack seeks to utilize a convention to reform campaign finance law. So why is such a convention dangerous, you ask? Well, for one, mostly red states are currently in support of such. Thus, delegates attending would mostly be conservative. This would be a huge threat to things such as freedom from religion, healthcare, education, and gun control. Also, the environment, income equality, and indeed, human rights, as people would be legally discriminated against by their sexuality, color, age, or class under proposed amendments. A number of major conservative organizations and donors, including the Mercer family and Koch-funded groups such as ALEC, have renewed and intensified efforts to thrust this issue into the spotlight after years of inactivity. So one must ask the question, why? What would they stand to gain from such a convention? The answer is simple: power and money. They want us to live in a feudal state. And there is nothing in the Constitution to prevent a constitutional convention from being expanded in scope to issues not raised in the convention calls passed by the state legislatures. And therefore, it could lead to a runaway convention. An Article 5 convention would open the Constitution to revisions at a time of extreme gerrymandering and polarization amid unlimited political spending. It could also allow special interests and the wealthiest to rewrite the rules governing our system of government. And we know how well they're doing that right now. We know who's going to get screwed here. There are no rules governing constitutional conventions. A convention would be an unpredictable Pandora's box. The last one in 1787 actually resulted in a brand new constitution. One group advocating for a convention of states openly discusses the possibility of using the process to undo hard-won civil rights and liberties, advances, and undermine basic rights extended through history as our nation strove to deliver on the promise of a democracy that works for everyone. All men are equal. All people are equal. No judicial, legislative, or executive body would have clear authority to settle disputes about a convention, opening the process to chaos and protracted legal battles that would threaten the functioning of our democracy and our economy. And there is also a distinct possibility of unequal representation. It is unclear how states would choose delegates to a convention, and how states and citizens would be represented in such a convention, and who would ultimately get to vote on items raised in a convention. 3 guesses who, people? The wealthy. And the other 2 don't count. If a convention were to happen, we could likely face the harsh reality of amendments designed to bring forward a version of Christian Sharia law, one in which everyone is required to carry a weapon, and where the thought police envisioned by Orwell could swiftly become a reality. Excuse me. As of March 9th, there are 80 active resolutions in state legislatures to call for a convention. We implore you to call your state legislators and demand that these resolutions be killed. Arkansas, Arizona, Georgia, and Utah, your states are the furthest along in the process. However, we need to call in every state. I'd also ask you to follow @CaptainResists on Twitter for information on this subject, as his feed is largely devoted to the defeat of these proposals. He has also developed a tracking spreadsheet to show what states have proposals, their reason for them, and how far along they are. And I will add this link to the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'm Dan Jennings, reminding you as always,
Don't just comment, act. Subscribe. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night.